get where that fear comes from. And
Yeah.
so if you're thinking that you have this fear and you're feeling like you can't overcome it, that it's time to sit and look in the why you're afraid, and pick that apart. And so you can overcome it. And it's, nothing is impossible. You just have to keep believing in that. But it's so easy to say. So just pick apart that fear and that why.
Yeah.
And the answer will be there of
face it head on.
Day
I
at a
am.
time, but take it a day at a time, a step at a time, and just look at your why.
All righty. Our next one is Christina. What is she saying?
Yes, Christina said, what about childhood trauma? How can that contribute to the fear of trying something new or feeling like it's too late?
Wow. Wow. That's a very good one. Doc?
Yeah, I deal with people in trauma. Trauma is something that is unique to every single person. We've all had it. And there are certain traumas though that go very, very deep. And I find that is almost always at the basis of where people have trouble making moves in their life, whether it's falling in love or a career or having children or, whatever. And trauma is so significant. Whenever somebody goes through a childhood trauma, their mental and emotional development stops at the age that they experience the trauma.
Wow.
They really cannot, even though they grow up and develop and keep going in life, that mental emotional child stops right there in their development.
Wow.
And we all need to go back to that age and figure out what happened at that point, where we stopped, how we can begin to develop further. And I think that there's a lot of great counselors. If you are, I think with trauma, you must seek counseling. You must develop through that. There are counselors who are very specific for trauma. And there's even a type of counseling called EMDR. And people look it up, and it is very important for people to do that, with their counseling in order to overcome that trauma. That is very important. And anybody who's experienced, which we've all experienced it, but at different degrees, and those who've experienced very severe trauma definitely need to focus and face that.
I'm sorry. I don't want to brush past that because that was so important what you just said there. The development literally stops where the trauma took place. My God, the only thing that can help you is through some counseling, because you may not even recognize that because you've shut down that pain. You don't want to feel. You don't want to even think of, wow.
And I think that's what happens. You get in an environment where a professional is speaking to you and things start coming up, and she's connecting the dots for you in a way that you couldn't. Maybe you suppressed it. That is so.
That's profound right there. Wow. That
trauma. And if you're in a work environment or a relationship or whatever, and somebody kind of does something that triggers an old trauma response in you, you automatically go to a fight or flight or a defense mode.
Wow.
And you can no longer really function in, kind of an environment where you just kind of think about it, absorb and readjust. You respond and you react. And those reactions, like I say, brings up all that, adrenaline. And it's very, very hard for people to overcome in situations where they get triggered. And that often leads to problems in the workplace and in relationships where, those responses are so important to work through.
And it's never too late to get, like
it's never too late. That's never too. That, I think right there, what you just shared is so profound. And I think that it's very important, especially because those are things that are affecting us in the workplace. Absolutely. And we don't even know it. We don't know how we're interacting with our peers and with our supervisors and everything, because, hey, wow, that's profound.